Going live. You're live. All right. So am I. Oh, it is. Well, for maybe another 30 seconds, it's Saturday. Actually, according to however the time on the phone is, it's already 30 seconds past. It's now Sunday morning, y'all. Welcome to Mike at Midnight. Um, I'm going to just kind of take my time here before getting started, give y'all a chance to wander in, all two or three of you. And then we'll get started from there. Not a very long poem, not a very short poem. It is found in the book, The 100 Best Poems of All Time, edited by Leslie Pockle. Because after all, these are all somebody else's works. And she's basically combined them into one file, if you will. I'm not going to read the whole book because there's, even for educational purposes, there is limits on fair use. Lord forbid we should ever do anything in violating copyright. So, in keeping with the legalities, I am not monetized. In no way am I trying to make profit from this or to keep profits from being made on this book. By all means, if you like poetry, this is the book to buy right here. So, all right. It is published by Grand Central Publishing in both New York and Boston, where their headquarters are. The Hatchet Book Company, Book Group, I apologize. Park Avenue, New York, New York. Copyright 2001 by Warner Books, Incorporated. It is allowed that you can, for educational purposes, read passages from the book, but you cannot read the entire book in a public forum. Some people seem to think you can. No. Now, whether or not you were to do that over one chapter at a time, technically that's still a passage. But yeah, you probably just need to keep it to paragraphs, which there are several poems per chapter, so therefore that qualifies. So somebody coming over, what do they say? If your ears itch, someone's talking about you. If your nose itches and you've got company coming over. Man, it's Central Time here. It is just past midnight. Go back where you came from. Come tomorrow during the daylight hours. Anyhow. I kind of bounce back and forth. I don't want to make this this playlist, is after all what it's going to become. I don't want everything to be all just one-sided or, maybe 2-3 weeks in a row of poems, and then maybe a week straight of comic wit, then storytelling, and just kind of bounce around a little bit, music, little bits of wisdom. I don't want to use this forum as a means of preaching my beliefs. So I think there's a good way to go about doing that, but I think if that's what somebody wants to do, they should solely do that. Well, hello, Elegant Homestead. How are you? Um, but every now and then I might even dip into the Bible in a storytelling format. One of my favorite stories in the Bible is titled "The Error of Balaam," and just a brief touch on that is God tells Balaam to go tell a certain people of the terrible things that he's going to do to them, and but obviously that's bad news. Who wants to hear bad news? And Balaam is a prophet for hire. Well, if you're going to pay a prophet to come tell you whatever God has in store for you, you want it to be good news. So basically, he would lie. and um, a lot of things happen to Balaam in the process of him learning his lesson, and that's the storytelling part of it. So, I first heard that story when I was a child, and I'm one of these people that I have the ability, while you tell me, like say for example, you tell me the events of your summer vacation, while you're talking to me and I am paying attention, I get this glazed over look, and the reason why is I'm actually picturing everything you're telling me as if I was actually there. So every now and then, who knows where I'm going to go with this playlist. Uh, the idea, I've had someone tell me that I have too much going on my channel. If I'm going to do van life videos, then I should do nothing but van life videos. If I'm going to do live stream dash cams in a big rig, then I should do nothing but dash cam videos in a big rig. If I'm going to do the Sunday night live streams, I'm either usually doing that one of three places: in the big truck, in my van, or at home. I should choose one. And then obviously, if I'm going to do trucking videos and videos of that sort, or guitar music lesson videos, and then that's what I should do. I should focus. If I want to have more than one format for the different subject matters that I'm addressing, then I should have a different channel for each one. Well, I got, 5 different things going on here. I'm not going to have 5 channels and then try to bounce back and forth between them. I agree. Like you said, just do your own thing. But the main thing for me is I had a guy actually cuss me, use the F word, cussing me. Why are we effing talking about big trucks in a guitar video? Was this guy's comment. He has since deleted it. I was going to call him out on it. It made me pretty mad. And but he fails to recognize the background that I was sitting in the truck, and therefore talking about the truck specifically because I had the truck off. It was hot out. It would have been nice to have the air conditioning going, but I had the truck off so it would be less racket and background noise and rattling and whatever else, vibration from the cameras. You know, diesel trucks, especially older ones, they don't idle too smooth. So he didn't even recognize the background that we're in a truck. And it would be like if you're at the Ryman Auditorium. Hey, man, I didn't come to hear you talk about the auditorium. I came to hear country music. Well, you know, that's great, but the Ryman is a kind of a real special place. So, yeah, there's no big deal talking about the stadium or the auditorium where you're performing from. And that's basically what I was doing, except the auditorium I was performing from happens to be getting 4 miles per gallon instead of 5 or 6, and I felt it was worth mentioning. Thus the reason another reason for having the air conditioning off and trying to reduce my idle time. So, well, somehow I've changed pages here. Hang on, let's go back to this. But anyway, it kind of amused me that the guy cursed me. So I'm one of these that if you leave a rude comment to one of my videos, then I'm going to respond with a rude comment or a rude reply back, which is exactly what I did. And I had actually taken screenshots. Everything I do from my cell phone. Now, some of the videos that I'm doing now that are not live, my wife bought me a digital camera for my birthday, and so I'm working on learning how to use that more and use my phone less. Of course, that involves transferring and uploading and down whatever, but I like the quality of the crispness, I guess, of the color and the brightness and everything on the other camera better than I do than on my phone camera, which is what I'm on now, my phone. So otherwise, I'm on this dude right here. He's purple. He ain't pretty. Well, you can't hardly. There it is. Purple. Plum, actually, not purple. But so the idea though was and I told the guy, I said, but there's one thing that you hadn't paid attention to. I said, because if you had gone to the description when you first come to my channel after having seen this video, it was for I do these guitar videos with the chords are above the headstock of the guitar so people can follow along without having any sheet music in front of them. And no, my camera, well, I don't know. I think it does have Bluetooth capabilities, but I haven't. Right now, I'm one of these, I start with just the basic stuff, and I wait till I perfect that. And then once I've gotten so good at it, I can do it in my sleep, then I start seeing what all the extra stuff is. So, but I think it does have Bluetooth capabilities on there, and if that's the case, maybe I can, I'm not sure. But I told the guys, but what you hadn't noticed, first off, even if you hadn't gone to see the description of my channel, you'd have seen the name of my channel where I had posted the title of the video. And, of course, the name of my channel, One Mic to Live. Now, granted, when I first posted the video, at that time my channel name was Interstate Cowboy, because that's my CB, well, not necessarily my CB handle, but that's kind of what I'm known by out on the highway on the CB. And, but because all the deer that I've squashed over the years, apparently deer are attracted to chrome, or at the very least the sound of a diesel engine. And and they don't just kind of bump you. I have had one bump me on the side. Most of them though, they come right in front of you. And so a guy said, which at that time my CB handle was Nenewa, which is Muskogee for the stranger who has no name. And I felt, when you're on CB radio, you're talking to everybody, nobody really knows anybody, and that was appropriate. And the guy says, no, you can call yourself whatever you want, but from now on, we're calling you Deer Slayer. Because of all the, I've been driving driving big trucks. Of course, I've been driving longer than that, but I've been driving big rigs for 36 years. Either big rigs, buses, straight trucks, you name it. Somehow, some way, I've been driving commercially. I've been in the commercial transportation field for 36 years. A couple of breaks for welding, and maybe about 4 years of that was welding. The rest of it's some form of commercial transportation. And it is amazing to me that all the deer that I've ever killed, I killed with trucks I owned. When I was in someone else's truck, very rarely. I think 2 of the deer I've ever killed was in someone else's truck. All the rest I killed either in the trucks, big rigs that I've owned 5. Buy one, pay it off, sell it, trade it up for a bigger one. That one's nothing but problems. Give it back, go get a different one, bigger still, and pay it off, trade it and back and forth. But anyway, then you work your way back to a small truck because you realize the bigger the truck, the more weight the truck is, the less weight you can carry on your back on the trailer. So, but yeah, I've killed 5 deer with the trucks that I've owned, and no, 6 deer with the trucks I've owned. 2 more with company trucks, or was that 3? I believe it's 3. And then I used to have a 51 Chevy Coupe. I killed one with it too. So, and then I killed one that wasn't really my fault. Hey, Nickel, how's it going, brother? I killed one, though. It wasn't really me that killed it, but because of me, it died. Then I had an oversized load, and I was going through somewhere north of Salt Lake City, Utah. And the video's done uploading. And the escort in front of me, she had this little Nissan pickup truck, what we call a pole car, and that's what's got a pole with a little height detector on it in case they tap any wires or flags, so they can tell me stop before I tap the wires or flags, with a big old steel tank I had on my back. And anyways, there's three. They weren't caribou. They were elk. But that to me is just a really big deer on steroids. And there were three of them kind of boing, 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 like so. And then two of them made a sharp left and went up over the fence. The third one came right in front of her, and there's pow and antifreeze everywhere, and it was bigness. So, but that one, had that woman not been escorting me, hang on one second here. And of course, the computer's going to lock up right now. You son of a so-and-so. We have all kinds of computer issues, but at least the video finished uploading. I know where to find it, so whatever. Yep. I'd flip it off, but not on camera. Anyways, yeah, it made it. Good. That's all I care about. The dude would have died had I not had the need for escorts and thus been going down that road. So technically, that one would have made 9, plus the one that I ran over in my 51 coupe makes 10. Now here's the kicker. The interesting part about this, and then we'll get into this here. The interesting part about the one in my 51 Chevy, someone had taken the frame and sliced it right about where the accelerator and brake pedal were. And then removed the 51 Chevy frame from the front, leaving the body, and then installed the frame from a 66 Chevy 2 Nova, which at the time was the frame they used. Nowadays, I think they use like a Z28 Camaro frame from like the 80s. But anyway, they had done a really good job, whoever done this. They had welded it and spliced. They didn't just do like so and weld it. They had cut it in such a manner that the two pieces of frame channels on both sides done this and welded it solid every which way. I had it checked. I mean, the alignment on this car was perfect until I hit this deer. But the thing of it is, it never bent the frame, and that is itself amazing because there was no bumper. When they took the 66 Chevy 2 Nova frame and put it up underneath there, they weren't able to make the brackets fit for the bumper. And instead of fabricating brackets, they was like, well, whoever gets this car next, it's their problem. So, pardon me. And not bad manners, good vanilla Coke. But anyhow, so I hit a deer, which you know what happens when you hit a deer. You might as well be hitting a boulder. Okay. I hit a deer in a 51 Chevy Styline Deluxe Coupe, antique vehicle. Of course, not restored or nothing, so, but still. And I hit this thing doing about 35, 40 mile an hour. Maybe even 45, 50. Hit him pretty good clobber. I mean, enough to run plumb over him and kill him. You're not going to run over him. I probably think more about 55, maybe 60 now that I think about it. You're not going to run over a deer at 35. But literally hit him, run over him. He's toast. All it did was it kind of tweaked the front left fender enough that the fender got kind of pushed in closer to the door, and the door wouldn't open. I had to actually go in there before it was all said and done. I had to kind of pry the fender out a little bit, pry the door in a little bit so they'd pass each other, because I couldn't get it pulled back out. I tried it with a tree and a chain. Oh, wham! I got a little progress out of it, but not much. And right where the headlight is, and then your turn signal, and then, of course, where the bumper's supposed to be, it bent that portion of the fender in toward the tire. I was able to pull that back out with the chain, but all it did was make the headlight point to the ground instead of straight out. It really was, it was cosmetic. It wasn't rubbing the tire or nothing like that. I just didn't like the way it looked. But that's what I did to a 51 Chevy with no bumper. With a bumper, obviously, the damage would have been less. Had it been like a Pontiac Sunfire or Chevy Cavalier, or just about any car nowadays, they're all plastic and everything else, it would have totaled the car. And I drove that car for I don't know how long. I've had that thing for, I don't know, 4, 5, maybe 6 years, 7 years. And I bet you before I got rid of it, I drove it that way after having impacted that deer, probably another 3 years. So it didn't affect it none. It was a little bit after I had done that, it had taken that front wheel when I rode. It done something with the control arm bushings in there. which were probably already dry rotted, and so probably just kind of shoved the upper A-frame cross rod into the bushings or something. But yeah, after that, it started doing like this, but it still drove fine. And but yeah, it was a fun car. And actually, a lot of people said, "Man, I can't believe you don't fix it." I said, "Why? I love all the attention I get with it the way it is." The money it would have took, it's hard finding parts, and that's why, as much as I miss having that car, the money that it took to just try to find simple stuff like door glass, and door glass is straight. Anything that's flat, you can have cut almost anywhere. At least that's what people think. I can't tell how many glass places I went and said, no, we can't mess with that, because of the fact that they don't want to mess with anything that old, for the fear of if they get to taking the door apart and something's rusted and falls to pieces. But I understand that. So, but anyhow, I'm going to get into this. This is a poem titled Poetry, for lack of a better term. It's by a fellow, as the title suggests, it's by a fellow named Pablo Neruda, who was born in 1904 and died in 1973. I do not know where. I'm assuming Italy. Could be wrong. Because the film that he was in, Il Postino, was an Italian. In fact, it was an award-winning Italian film, of which he was one of the central characters in that movie. So I'm therefore assuming he was Italian. But anyhow, the poem itself is written in a philosophical manner, using a very, I don't know, they call this an eloquent style. See, to me, poetry is kind of like song lyrics. Every other line they'll rhyme, every couple paragraphs. I mean, it's very structured, and to me, that's the poetry I get the most. I read some stuff that just doesn't make sense at all because of the way it's not so much what it's referring to, but just the way it's written. Some stuff to me that's called poetry, to me, the word poem always brings into my mind something that rhymes. But anyway, apparently not, because there's, I don't know, like 5 or 6 major styles of poetry, and I think like only 2 of them are actually that rhyme in some sort or another. So, but here we are, Pablo Neruda, poetry. Not very, page and a half. And it was at that age, poetry arrived in search of me. I don't know where it came from winter or a river. I don't know how or when. No, they were not voices. They were not words nor silence. But from a street I was summoned, from the branches of night, abruptly from the others, among violent fires or returning alone, there I was without a face, and it touched me. I did not know what to say. My mouth had no way with names. My eyes are blind. My eyes were blind, and something started in my soul. Fever or forgotten wings, and I made my own way, deciphering that fire, and I wrote the first faint line. Faint without substance, pure nonsense, pure wisdom. Of someone who knows nothing, and suddenly I saw the heavens unfastened and open, planets, palpitating plantations, shadow perforated, riddled with arrows, fire, and flowers. The winding night, the universe. And I apologize. I even read this to make sure I wouldn't mess up on. I try to always do a proofreading first, but anyway, apparently it didn't work tonight. And I, infinitesimal being, drunk with the great starry void, likeness, imagine of mystery, felt myself a pure part of the abyss. I wheeled with the stars, my heart broke loose on the wind. That's where it goes. I like that. It doesn't, obviously, because of the fact it's a philosophical poem, and philosophy was never my strong subject in school. But anyhow, the poem itself, though, it reads nice, and I like where it seems to be going. If I would take my time to read it more than twice before going on live, I'd probably do better off. But anyhow, it reminds me of the Cheech and Chong movies, and Up in Smoke and Nice Dreams, and I can't remember all of them anymore, but I can just picture Tommy Chong going, "Oh wow, that's heavy, man." So, but there it is. If y'all notice behind me, we still have crutches, and although I'm getting that where at first I couldn't hardly put any pressure on my left foot at all. I had to basically hobble along, but hobbling along with my foot kind of like if I got my knee bent, that was making me very unstable. I just about fall forward, fall backward. I couldn't hardly balance myself at all. So then I started, in the name of not falling, I started just kind of picking it up off the ground a little bit and then extending it forward. But then the problem was it was also causing me to unbalance, and I actually would just about fall anyway. So I pretty well the next day just sat in my recliner and didn't move for nothing. I stayed in that chair all day, and the mama would wait on me hand and foot. I need to get injured more often. But anyway, because I've been able to keep it elevated and stay off of it, keep putting ice on it, the doctor said you can put occasional heat on it, but too much heat's just going to make it keep swelling. If nothing else, don't use any heat at all. Just, put ice on, take ice off, put ice on, take ice off. But by keeping ice on it frequently, I haven't been using the heating pad very much, and so the swelling's starting to go down. It's you can tell from looking left foot to right foot, it's still slightly larger than it should be, but doing better. So still hurts, but I'm just glad. I honestly thought something was broken in there. So the other night when this happened Friday, I kept it elevated all day Saturday. I laid in the truck down Fort Worth, Texas, and never moved. And then left in the wee early hours of Sunday morning to start heading up where I had to go. Didn't get very far at all. I got from like Fort Worth to Sulphur Springs, maybe 100 miles, and something like that. Then spent half the day at Sulphur Springs. Went from there to Texarkana, camped out for the night just north of Texarkana, and then went on to finish the run the next day. The whole run went like 7 or 8 hours, and it took me a day and a half to drive it. I just wasn't getting any sleep for all the pain I was in, and I'd drive, start getting drowsy. First time I start nodding my head, I fall over, because one of you watching this, whether it be whoever's still here now or watching this later, one of you might be on the road with me, and I may or may not even know you. But the point is, I've already had a traffic fatality a year ago, a little more than a year ago, and that was a guy who stopped right in front of me. But the idea of nodding off and keep on going, no, ain't happening. None on my watch. So the first time I start nodding, I'm done. If I can find a truck stop or a rest area, great. If I can't, Walmart, whether it has no parking signs or not, I don't care. They want to give me a ticket, give me a ticket. Ooh, You want to arrest me for not moving? Arrest me, but I'm not getting on the road if I'm to the point of falling asleep behind the wheel. It's just not happening. And if more truckers would think that way, they wouldn't have all the new rules they have now for all the years that people fall asleep behind the wheel. But anyway, but yeah, I'm doing a little better. So the main thing now is being at home. Of course, now I'm about to wrap this up and then go to bed, and that's something I'm not used to. Usually, I'm up all night long driving. In fact, one of the channels I try to always be up for is this fella Mike Millen. It's called Chilling with Millen, and he does his lives like clockwork every morning at 6:05 his time, 5:05 mine. Wherever I'm at, doesn't matter what time zone I'm in. On my logbook, it's always Central Time. So I try to take my breaks right around that time. I can't always, but I try, so I can catch his morning streams and visit with him. He's a guitar player, and he thinks not much of one, but honestly, he's a better guitar player than I am. But anyway, he pretty good guy, and I can always tell when he's up getting ready to go live, because a lot of times, if I happen to be up doing a live stream, say 4 o'clock in the morning, I've already done pulled over, and this would be as good time as any to wrap up my driving that I've been doing on dash cams, that he'll get in there and chat with me some. So, but yeah, the whole thing with this, I'm starting off to say, Nickel, or whoever, who's still here? I hadn't seen any comments in a while. Elegant Homestead, you are still here. And when this guy had started giving me all kinds of crap a while back on my In Time video, the first one, because I did 2, why are we talking about effing trucks in a guitar video? Well, if you noticed, the name of the channel isn't one guitar player to live. It isn't one trucker to live. It's one mic to live. It's whatever my life is at the moment. Any of these subject matters, guitar, motorcycles, whatever, music, then that's what I make the video about. And there's no rhyme or reason. Basically, what it comes down to is the algorithm for YouTube wants a video every so often, a couple times a week at minimum, once a week, bare minimum. And I try to, I can't do it all the time, but I try to do something almost once a day, except on Sunday night. I don't do I started to, but I'm not anymore. I do the mic at midnight, 6 nights a week. Sunday night, I figure, you know what, I've just done my live stream, that 6 p.m. music, mouthiness, and Michelob. That usually lasts until 10. So 2 more hours, I'd have to come back up and do something again, and by then I'm about ready for bed anyway. So 6 nights a week. But yeah, I said, the name of the channel is One Mic to Live. I'm Mike. So whatever's going on in my life, because I live my life. I don't just exist in my life. I live my life. I try to anyway. And work seems to take a lot of that away. But oh well, we're working on that too. But yeah, I just like, there was no sense of being rude and vulgar. I'm a trucker. Vulgarity does not offend me. Okay? Not even directed to me. In fact, I laugh when it's directed to me, because apparently somebody thinks words is the way to, sticks and stones, that kind of thing, But yeah, just like, I got rude back, and I cussed him back too. Like, okay, I'm very, very specific in my choice of words to do it in such a manner that make the guy feel this big. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the whole idea is like, dude, this is my channel. If you don't like the way I present items on my channel, keep scrolling. Don't hit the video that you think is interesting. Keep scrolling. And there's a lot of people on here that I subscribe to. Well, I'm not supposed to say that no more. That I support, that I follow, that I whatever, that I'm like-minded with, I guess. And so I click that big red word we're not supposed to say no more. And when I do, it turns green or gray. And then I go ahead and I click the bell while I'm at it, which is gray, and then it turns blue. So, of course, every time I hit the thumbs up button, it's blue. Rarely do I ever hit the thumbs down button, although a thumbs down is not necessarily a bad thing. as far as the YouTube analytics is concerned, that's still interaction. And that, so it still somehow counts. There's still going to be the percentages of likes and dislikes down here, but in the analytics, the idea is it's just judging whether you either have an audience that's interactive or it's not. It's not good interaction, bad interaction. No, it's interaction or no interaction. And that's it. So yeah, foul mouth comments, thumbs down, it's all the same. You know? So, but I don't usually do the thumbs down unless it's something I just really just felt was awful. Otherwise, I just won't bother. I'll do a thumbs up, or I may or may not comment. But if it's a thumbs down, I just don't do nothing. So, but why this guy felt he had to get to the point of cussing and whatever else, I was like, okay, whatever. So, get out of your system, dude. You know? I wait after that, and I'll always do something like, are you done? I don't know. It's just, to me, I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, and I've lost count how many different situations I've had where I probably should have died. Yeah, after that, I know at least 3 of those situations. And I'm being conservative. But after you've been through certain situations like that, and I don't mean like near misses either. I mean, how I lived through that, I don't even know. Once you've been through one of those, much less 3, yeah, someone else's opinion of you suddenly doesn't really rank that high as a priority of things to be concerned about, to lose sleep over, etc. So. But anyhow, we have one of you still here. No new comments in a little while. Ever put your hand in the roadkill and take it home. In the event that you're still here or gone and come back, check this out later, Nickel. No, I never have. Although I will tell you this. Do you remember, Nickel and Dime? Do you remember on Chrome's chat room, which of course he's done away with since, but on the Weirdo Hangout chat room, do you remember one day I posted a picture? It was right around Christmas time, and I was in that white Kenworth, and I hit a deer, and it just folded the whole front end up, you know. And then I was in a green truck for a while. Well, the day that happened, the guy that was with me as my co-driver actually went back there and tried to cut off the antlers of the deer. He actually got one of them, but that was just because when I hit the deer, it kind of broke off. That section of his skull broke off inside, you know, so he had to cut all the meat to get that out. But he tried as he wanted to, he couldn't get that other one because it wasn't broken. And all he had was a little pocket knife. Though I'll bet you if he'd have had a hammer and a screwdriver, he'd have used it as a chisel and went after it. So, no, I never have butchered the roadkill, but the guy I was with, and the guy even said that, one of the fellas at work, I didn't know this fella for nothing, that I needed a substitute co-driver, because with UPS, you have to have it's a team operation. You can't have a solo driver out there. Not for the Amazon stuff, no. Especially not Christmas time. But anyway, they had to have a substitute driver for this one run, because the other fella wasn't going to be able to come in. And they knew it in advance, so at least that worked out pretty good. But when I told the guys at work about him going out there with his pocket knife and cutting the meat away to get to that one antler, and the one guy who knew him laughed, and he said, well, I'm surprised that dude didn't gut him right there and start cutting out meat. So, what was his name? His name was George, I think. Anyway, I wasn't too crazy, but he couldn't hear. Dude, you're driving a big rig and you can't hear. And then apparently he doesn't see real good until he's right on top of whatever it is he's trying to focus on. And I'm back there asleep knowing this. Of course, I didn't sleep real well after he told me that, but fortunately he went with but just 1 week and a half trip, so it was all good. But anyway, y'all, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. It is now 20 minutes till 1 Central Time, and my nose is still itching, so whoever is coming over here right now, go away. Wait till the sun comes up. I'll be more than glad to entertain you then. So, next weekend, And I'll post another video about this by itself as an advertisement. So next weekend, a very good friend of mine is coming over, and we're going to jam. And I'm going to see if either A, if he's okay, because he's kind of bashful. So I'm going to see if he's okay with either A, letting me go ahead and put us live, or B, at the very least, whip out the video camera and record our jam sessions, and then I'll go back and edit things later if he doesn't like, well, anything from here down's okay, dude, you know. Some people are like that. And but this guy is a guitar guru. If it has anything to do with Angus Young, the lead guitarist from AC/DC, moving his head real fast even though the music got a little slow, and Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan. And there are others, but those are his top three. That you talk to a lot of people you ask them, like, for example, George Thorogood of George Thorogood and the Destroyers. You know, bad to the bone. I grew up listening to his music. You know, who do you love? If you ask George Thorogood where his musical inspiration comes from, he thinks Chuck Berry. And if you really think about it, you listen back, and you listen back some of George Thorogood's music, yeah, you can hear the Chuck Berry influence. So my buddy Andrew, his thing, like I said, is Angus Young and the AC/DC. The Jimi Hendrix Experience, actually the name of the band, and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. So those are his three main influences. And when he performs, he actually dresses up like Stevie Ray Vaughan, the hat, the vest, everything. I mean, if you actually saw him in a concert at a distance, you would actually think, wow, because he plays that well, he sings that well, and you would think that it was not a Stevie Ray Vaughan act, but you would actually think, wow. I saw a video of him playing one day, and I honestly believed it was early footage of Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's, no, dude, that's me. I was like, no. He's like, yeah. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to do a little jam here on YouTube. So that's where those of you who've seen my guitar videos, you realize, okay, sounds good, but it'd sound better if there was something else, you know, other members of a band, for example. And I don't have that. Little town where I live, I'm sure there's all kinds of people up here who are guitar players, but finding somebody that I'm not holding back, because I'm above amateur, but not by very much. And I'm way below pro. So I have gotten paid to play, and I have performed live a lot of places, but I still don't revere myself as being all that great of a guitarist or singer. But the thing is here is, one, finding people that I'm not going to be holding back because I'm not maybe as par as they are, not up on the same level as they are. And by the same token, because of my job, I'm not going to be around for, you know, band rehearsals and that kind of stuff. So I just go it alone. The nice thing about playing rhythm, see, if you play lead, if you play nothing but lead, not a mixture of lead and rhythm, nothing but lead, the song sucks. It really does. It doesn't, because there's too much missing. There's no rhythm at all. I mean, you can stay in rhythm, but you're not playing the rhythm parts because you're playing the lead parts. And so, of course, there's a lot of dead space and the different kind of timing issues and stuff that are resolved with a rhythm guitarist. And, of course, if you have a drummer and a bass player, all the more. So, but you can play nothing but the rhythm without any lead, and it still sounds okay, which is what I do when I perform. Thankfully, I perform in bars. People's expectations aren't very high. But the idea of having myself and a lead guitarist, especially for some of the stuff that I do, that when it comes time for the intro, and the intro might be 2 verses long, and I'm just doing that same 3 or 4 chords all the way through, because in my mind I'm trying to keep the timing where it's at. I mean, I could always just go ahead, jump it, cut it shorter or something, or skip the intro, the intermission entirely. But the idea is that it belongs there. I try to play the songs as best I can to where people are used to listening to them. And uh, although I can't play the lead, I'm not going to remove that portion of time from the song either. So I just go ahead and I play the rhythm, 3 verses 5, however long it is. And but now this upcoming weekend I'll have a friend here playing the lead. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know if we'll set up in here. The study's kind of cramped. We have set up in here before, but it's kind of cramped in here. And especially since right now we're doing home renovations. So any room that we don't frequent, for example, we have a guest room that we don't frequent. So that's become like a storage room right now. This room had, for the longest time, only recently have I come straightened up in here some on a weekend off. And then even we have another guest room at the other end of the house that is where the master bath is. That actually used to be the master bedroom before the room additions for the kitchen and the new master had been built. So the master bath is still down there. And so Elaine will use that room as her dressing room unless we have guests to use it. And then, of course, we'll grab some clothes and stuff and come back out, and they have that room to themselves. And then she'll use the bath in the hall here until they go back home. Then she gets her master bath back. But even that room had become kind of storage. So yeah, we right now are kind of cramped for space. There's pieces of wood. We got planks and plywood and all kinds of stuff because there's projects going on in different rooms, and yeah, it's a mess. Outside the house looks like a war zone. It really does. I've seen projects that look nicer than my front yard right now. So, oh well, it is what it is. When it's all said and done, though, it'll be awesome. So, but anyway, we'll either here or in the living room somewhere, we'll get set up and have a good old time, and hopefully I'll be able to present some of that to y'all. So we'll see how that goes next weekend. So he hadn't said Saturday or Sunday. All he said was next weekend. So I'm like, and I know he'll show because one time he's like, look, dude, I only have about 20 minutes to spare, but I'll come by. So he's going to bring an amplifier, his electric guitar, and all this other stuff, pedal board, set it all up, which takes the time to drag it into the house and everything else. It takes a little bit. And by the time he takes it all back down again, we're probably only talking about 10, 12 minutes of playtime. So yeah, we just got into it and bam, 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 bam. 2.5, almost 3 hours later, he's calling his friends. Man, I'm sorry, but I'll be there. All right, just wait on me. So, you get around people who like to play and you just can't stop. Anyway, so before whoever gets here, because like I said, my nose is still itching. So whoever's on their way here, before you get here, I'm going to hurry up, close the door, close the curtain, turn the lights out, make like nobody's home. So y'all have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. And tomorrow is Sunday, so I don't do Mike at Midnight Sundays anymore. But I will be on live 6 p.m. beyond Central Time. So those of y'all on the West Coast, that's 4 p.m. East Coast, that's 7 p.m. If you're in the UK, and I don't know if the UK is all one time zone or what, but I do know that that's right around, I think, straight up midnight? 1 o'clock in the morning? Somewhere around. No. 7. I think 7 p.m. my time, so that makes, yeah, I think there's 6 hours ahead there. So 5 or 6. But anyways, in the UK, it'll be sometime right around midnight, a little bit before, a little bit after. So, a little music, mouthiness, and Michelob. When I got hurt, I hurt my shoulder, hurt my back, hurt my, as Forrest Gump would say, my buttocks. I'd say I hurt my pride. And the doctor would say my posterior. Danny DeVito would say, well, I hurt his ass. So, or Mike Myers, what was the Simon? I hurt my bum. So, and then of course my left knee and all the way down my shin, my ankle, my foot. I was pretty bad shape. So 13 feet up, no biggie. I can fly, and like a brick. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I'm gonna go to bed, and get up tomorrow and do some jamming tomorrow night. I picked the guitar up today. First time I was able to play without having any kind of pain issues. And still a little difficulty changing a couple of chords, because you wouldn't believe how much muscle action you got going on all the way into your back just to do this. So, yeah, but be all right. I can handle it. So hopefully we'll see anybody watching this here between now and tomorrow night. Hopefully we'll see y'all at 6 p.m. tomorrow, which is actually today, Sunday, the what is it? Sunday the 10th. Today is March 10th. So at 6 p.m. this evening, music, mouthiness, and Michelob. Hope you'll be there. If not, we'll see you somewhere. Your channel or mine, or somewhere in between. Take care. You got one life to live. Get out there and live it. Keep on keeping on. See you later. Good night.